Welcome to the program. I'm Mark Imperial. This segment's brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where busy professionals get their books done and published to educate consumers, grow their businesses, and to leave a legacy. I'm doing a series of spotlights on remarkable business intermediaries and brokers from across the country. And joining me on this segment is Stu Gilman. He's with Transworld Business Advisors. Stu, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Mark. Good to be here.
Stu, tell us a little bit about your work and tell us specifically who are the types of clients that you specialize in working with and helping.
Well, basically, Mark, the people that we help the most are retirees or people who would like to retire. They've built a business and now they're trying to figure out how they can capitalize on the work that they've done for all those years. And so they come to us either by referral from their CPA or wealth management person, whoever it is that they're working with, their attorney. And what we do is basically help people sell their businesses.
The inspiration for this spotlight is the lack of knowledge and realizing that a lot of business owners don't know where to start when it comes to selling a business. Is that what you find as well? What are the main concerns that business owners have when they first reach out to you?
Well, they obviously would like, first of all, they want to know how much is my business worth? And so what we do is offer a valuation to give them a ballpark idea of what the business could possibly sell for. And the other thing is that this is the biggest transaction that most business owners will ever have in their entire lives. For a lot of folks, it's their house when they sell that. But for a business owner, it's a much bigger deal. And so they want to make sure that they're handled carefully, professionally, and we're able to get the best possible price for them.
A lot of these owners don't realize the services of a business broker or intermediary even exist. Can you kind of give us a 10,000-foot view on how you exactly help these business owners and help them maximize their sale?
Well, 10,000-foot view is, first of all, letting people know that we're even out there. You're absolutely right, Mark. If we've faced a challenge here in the Central Valley, there's a lot of people most people will initially go to their attorney, their or else their CPA, wealth manager, and they say, "Can you help me sell my business?" Well, they may be able to assist with a transaction, reviewing paperwork, writing up a deal, things like that, but they're not in any position to market the business. And because we are Transworld Business Advisor franchisees, we're able to basically not only do evaluation, but our particular company, we have a whole team approach to the way we do business. A lot of business brokers have like a single shingle type situation where you've got one or two people in an office and they do everything. We work with Valley business that we have here. It's currently based in Modesto. And we have offices and the territory for Transworld, basically from Sacramento to Bakersfield, Monterey, Palo Alto, East Bay. So we cover a lot of territory out here. And with our team, we're able to, for instance, we have somebody who's certified to do business valuations. That has master's in finance. We've got lots of MBA. In fact, one of our guys, actually, I call him our overachiever. He has 2 MBAs. And so we've got a bunch of smart people. We work together collectively as a team to be able to not only determine the right valuation, but we have lots of leads that come in from across the country off of the internet, as well as we are proactive in actually calling prospective buyers in the same industry. And so essentially we can go through the entire process end to end, including a guy who is another MBA that handles all of our transaction coordination at the end with escrow.
We know that a lot of business owners throughout the pandemic have been considering selling the business and they think, man, that maybe this is the time. But at the same time, they wonder, is it a good time to sell because we're just coming out of the pandemic? What's the market been like in your area? And what have you seen? Is it a good opportunity to sell a business today?
Absolutely, it is today. As you know, Mark, there's a lot of businesses that didn't do so well during the pandemic. Uh, we certainly like to coach people and say, look, if your business took a dip and it hasn't quite recovered yet, wait a little while, right? You don't want to sell a business when it's headed down. You want to sell a business when it's on its way up. And so that's really an important distinction if they want to maximize the amount that they would get when it's time to sell. That being said, Mark, there's a lot of businesses that thrived during COVID, actually grew significantly. And so we tell people keep doing what you've been doing, and that's a great time to sell.
Stu, I've read a statistic recently that over 50%, maybe as high as 80% of businesses that go on the market who may be not well prepared, they go unsold. Can you kind of give us some insight on like what are the biggest factors that may sabotage a business from selling?
Well, a couple of obvious ones. First of all, you got to have good books and records, right? There was one business that I really struggled to try and sell, and found out along the way that they were actually taking cash out of the business, so that they didn't have to pay as much taxes. Over the years that they built really a good business, but banks wouldn't lend to them because it looked like the owners were under the poverty line. They actually made enough money to pay off their homes and cars, but when it came time to sell, the lenders, especially SBA, they want to see that this is a business that can support the new owner as well as support the debt that they're taking on to buy the business. So that's one thing. Another thing is we've had challenges with businesses that some of the hardest ones to sell are the single shingle types, where basically the business is the owner. I like to recommend to people when they're looking at retirement or wanting to sell, to hire some people that can actually begin to take over some of your efforts and some of the things that you're doing to run the business. Because people, unless they're looking to buy a job, all right, and there are people out there that want to buy a job, the best businesses to sell are the ones that already have some people that are working in the business that can run the business either with an absentee or a partial absentee owner.
Great insight. Stu, what inspired you to become a business intermediary? Like, how did you get started in this industry?
Well, I spent over 35 years as a software consultant, mostly with large companies doing internal software development. And along the way, met a couple of people that have become dear friends of mine, the two co-founders of our franchise, Lee Grover and Dan Conrad. And we were already looking for things that we could do together. So they got started with purchasing the Transworld franchises up and down the valley, and they asked me to come on board. And what better thing to do to be able to work with two of your best friends and at the same time work to help people transition to the next season of their lives. So it's just a perfect match for me.
Before I ask you my last question, Stu, is there anything that I didn't think to ask that you feel is important to share with business owners that are considering selling in today's economy?
I guess the biggest thing is, Mark, would be to give an intermediary like ours the opportunity to put a value on their business, find out what it's worth. And I imagine a lot of intermediaries out there offer some kind of consulting services or things that can actually help them prepare to sell. Because sometimes one thing that a lot of people don't realize is it can take up to a year or more to sell a business. It's not like trying to flip a house. And the more niche your business is, the more difficult it will take longer to sell. There's generally somebody out there for almost every kind of business, but prepare to sell and listen to your intermediary, because the way we do business, the way a lot of intermediaries work is we don't get paid unless we sell, right? So there's a lot of work that goes into this. And so please listen to whoever you're working with, realize that they have your best interest in mind, and give yourself the time to get your business ready so that when we put it on the market, it can go that much more quickly.
Sage advice. Stu, for folks listening, business owners that are in the areas that you serve that are considering selling and would love to meet with you, how do they find you, connect with you, and learn more?
Well, a couple of ways. The phone number to reach me directly is 844 STU 4U. That's 844 STU, the number 4 YOU. We have a website that is norcalbizsales.com. That's NORBIZSALES.com, norcalbizsales.com. So those are the two easiest ways to reach us. And we would be delighted to visit with anyone here in the Central Valley, out on the coast by Monterey, East Bay, or Palo Alto. We'd be delighted to give them a free valuation and talk about possible next steps.
This has been terrific, Stu. I really appreciate you stopping by and sharing with my audience today, and I wish you continued success for you and for all of your clients.
Thanks so much, Mark. I really appreciate the time.
That was Stu Gilman with Transworld Business Advisors in California. And this segment's brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where busy professionals get their books done to educate consumers, grow their practices, and to leave a legacy. That's all for now. I'm Mark Imperial, and thanks for joining me.